the squid guardian of the ocean depths. The ocean had always whispered to Sebastian. From the tranquil stillness of the deep trenches to the turbulent waves crashing on the surface, he listened to its voice, heard the rhythms of its life. But the whispers had grown weak. The ocean, once vibrant with life, was now suffocated by plastic islands, oil slicks, and chemicals bleeding from rivers. It wept for help, and Sebastian had heard its cry. From the abyss, where sunlight could never reach, the blue-skinned guardian emerged. Sebastian belonged to an ancient aquatic civilization from a planet far from Earth, the Atlurnians, whose entire existence revolved around harmony with water. Though they had once explored the stars, they found greater meaning in preserving the balance of ecosystems hidden within the depths of worlds like Earth. For years, Sebastian had observed from the shadows, hoping that humanity would change course. But the oceans were dying faster than he had feared. Climate change heated the waters, bleaching coral reefs to ghostly white. Islands of plastic floated aimlessly, blocking sunlight from penetrating the surface. Fish populations were decimated by overfishing and dead zones, areas devoid of life, spread like wounds across the seas. It was time to act. On a stormy morning, fishermen off the coast of the Pacific reported the first sighting. The storm had churned the waves into a gray froth, and out of the chaos rose a massive, glowing figure, Sebastian. His tentacles, translucent and bioluminescent, spread in graceful arcs through the water, each one adorned with strange glowing symbols that pulsed with alien energy. His body shimmered in a soft, otherworldly blue, resembling both a squid and a humanoid, his eyes deep and reflective like the darkest abyss. Terrified, the fishermen fled, their boats cutting erratic paths back to shore. Within hours, rumors of a sea monster filled the airwaves. News reports showed grainy footage of Sebastian's emergence. Social media exploded with panic and speculation. Was it a mutant? An alien invasion? Governments scrambled to contain the situation, while oil companies and fishing conglomerates saw only the potential for disruption and profit. Meanwhile, deep within the ocean, Sebastian had begun his work. Sebastian's technology was unlike anything Earth had seen. He placed glowing orbs, called exocrine spheres, into dead zones across the oceans. These spheres pulsed with biotechnological energy, cleansing toxins and restoring oxygen levels to the water. In days, marine life began to return to areas thought lost forever. Coral reefs, once pale and brittle, glowed with color again, blooming into vibrant gardens of biodiversity. Polluted patches of water turned clear, and the plastic debris vanished into nothingness, broken down at the molecular level by the spheres. As the world stood in awe of the sudden transformation, environmental scientists raced to understand the phenomenon. Fish populations that had dwindled to near extinction were suddenly replenishing. The currents shifted, restoring balance to ecosystems that had been disrupted for decades. But not everyone welcomed Sebastian's intervention. In a sleek, glass-walled boardroom, high above the ocean, executives from Ocean Tech Industries, the world's largest fishing and marine exploitation conglomerate, met in secret. At the head of the table sat Victor Kane, the company's ruthless CEO, his eyes gleaming with ambition. This alien's technology, Kane said, showing footage of the exocrine spheres, could be worth billions. Imagine, machines that clean the ocean, restore ecosystems, and create perfect conditions for fishing. We need to control it. But sir, one of the scientists protested, the being seems to be operating with a purpose. We have no idea how it will react if we... I don't care how it reacts, Kane interrupted. We're not going to let some glowing squid run the show. We take those spheres, reverse engineer them, and sell the technology. The oceans will become ours to control. The board members nodded in agreement, sealing a plan that would set the stage for a confrontation with Sebastian. Far below the surface, Sebastian sensed the disturbance. The currents carried more than water, they carried intention. The ocean's pain was easing, but now a new threat was stirring on the surface. Greed. Within days, Ocean Tech dispatched private teams equipped with advanced submersibles to steal the exocrine spheres. They maneuvered through the reefs, careful not to alert the alien guardian. But they had underestimated Sebastian's connection to the water. He felt the disturbance as clearly as if it were happening to his own body. He appeared without warning, his glowing tentacles blocking the path of the intruders. The submersible pilot stared in awe and fear as the blue alien hovered before them, his eyes locking onto their vessel with calm but unmistakable warning. Leave. The message resonated through the water, not spoken aloud but projected into their minds. This technology is not for your profit. It is for the ocean's survival. The pilots hesitated, but greed pushed them forward. They fired mechanical claws toward one of the glowing spheres, trying to rip it from the reef. Sebastian's bioluminescence flared, bright as the sun, sending a pulse of energy through the water that paralyzed the submersible. The vessel drifted helplessly, its instruments scrambled by the alien signal. Back on the surface, Kane watched the mission collapse in real time from his command center. Furious, he ordered an all-out assault, hiring mercenaries to capture or kill Sebastian. But the alien guardian was no ordinary foe. He did not fight with weapons. He fought with the ocean itself. Storms erupted across the seas, summoned by Sebastian's will. Waves rose like walls, crashing against ships and scattering fleets. The currents shifted unpredictably, dragging submersibles into trenches too deep for them to escape. And still, the Echocrin spheres worked tirelessly, cleansing the waters, healing the ocean. Kane's forces were no match for the elements. His ships were battered and broken, his mercenaries forced to abandon their missions. The more he pushed, the more the ocean pushed back, until finally, the corporate empire he had built on exploitation crumbled beneath the weight of its own hubris. With the threat neutralized, Sebastian returned to his work. He knew that his presence would not be welcomed by all of humanity, but he also knew that some people had begun to understand. Coastal communities, once plagued by dead zones and toxic waters, now thrived. Fishermen, who had feared for their livelihoods, found their catches replenished. Scientists, inspired by the aliens' intervention, began advocating for global change in how humanity treated the oceans. Among them was Dr. Amelia Harker, the marine biologist who had first believed in Sebastian. She had watched the events unfold from the shore, marveling at the power of the Ocean Guardian. Determined to protect his legacy, she led efforts to implement policies that would prevent further exploitation of marine life. Though Sebastian would not stay on Earth forever, his influence would remain. The oceans, once on the brink of collapse, were alive again. And in the deep, where sunlight could not reach, the blue squid guardian swam silently, content that the ocean's voice, its whispers, was strong once more. For now, at least, the balance had been restored.